evening, and welcome to another episode of A Journey in Boots from Trauma to Triumph. I'm your co-host, Dorothy Odell. We are waiting anticipatingly that Dr. J will join us today. She must have been speaking to one of her amazing clients. For those of you, this is the first time tuning in. This platform we give for our veterans and first responders to be able to share their story. I am the founder of Unstoppable Overcomers Productions, where we give people an opportunity to share their stories and their journey in boots. So today, I have the distinct pleasure of having Larry Roberts to the show. Welcome, Larry.
Hello, thank you.
So, Larry, I know that you wear many hats, like we talked about in the green room. You're on the board for American Legion and Project Vet Relief. But before we get into that, can you share a little bit about your military journey?
All right. So I joined the military in February 2nd, 1988. Immediately, I was a 19 Delta Cav Scout. So my job, in a sense, was the eyes and ears of the commanders. So my job was to find the enemy, find landmines, find anything we can find out there, so that way they decide what they're going to do. I was in Germany when the wall came down between East and West Germany, and that was in Fulda Gap. And then a couple years later, I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm. That was an adventure. And I also went to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we did some joint missions with the Swedes and the Russians while we were over there. I also, when I was stationed at Fort Stewart, we did help the border patrol in Arizona with drug traffickers and terrorists come across.
Wow, that would have been scary.
We didn't know what it was until we got there.
How like Uncle Sam to say, "Hey, just show up. We need you here," right? And you have no idea. Wow. How long how long were you in the military?
I was in for 14 years.
Okay. Wow. And what made you decide to go into the military?
Job market. Pretty much, I got engaged just before I joined, and I knew that would be the best option for bringing up a family.
Right. Interesting. I know a lot of people that we've interviewed have said, "Oh, a free education."
Free education, free housing, free, the pay isn't that great, but when you start getting free housing, free medical, free all this other stuff, it adds up. A lot of people forget about that.
Right. Well, and technically it isn't free because you're giving your life to your country. So technically it isn't free, in my opinion.
Well, I'm comparing it to like law enforcement.
Law
enforcement still got to pay for those things where we didn't.
Right. You're the very first one that's ever said that. I never equated that before. Right. So thank you for that perspective, because it's not something that I had thought of before.
Right. So I did 14 years doing that. And then after that, I became a prison guard at federal in FCI Mariana, Florida, and federal penitentiaries.
Okay. And so what would you say would be your most memorable times in the military?
Camaraderie, friends, support. There's a line in the Soldier's Creed saying they would never leave a fallen comrade behind. And I still follow that today.
Right. No man or woman left behind. That's funny, because when I have another show too, and when we started that one, that was our motto, like leaving no one left behind in anything that we did. So Another one of us have actually been in the military. I do have family that has served in the Canadian Armed Forces and still do. So that's kind of cool. I guess that's probably the trajectory of why I decided to lock forces with you guys and, help any way that I could. So thank you for your service, Larry.
Thank you. So total, I did 25 years federal time between the military and working in the prison system.
So yeah, I just thought of that. So you actually saw the other side of it. So not only we're the military boots, but first responders as well. So what would be the biggest difference between both of those?
Well, the biggest difference is, I'll be honest with you, when you're in the military and you're on a combat mission, you know who your enemy is. When you're working in the law enforcement, you don't know until it's right on top of you or just before.
Right. Ooh,
That's really the difference.
that is so interesting. Yes. Interesting. So, and in all your times in service, I know you say camaraderie and the connection was the one thing. And would you say that's probably one of the reasons why you decided to do what you're doing now?
Yes. One of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is because when I got home and got out of the military, I had a hard time maneuvering the VA myself. So once I learned how to do it, and I thought I was doing it right, I kept getting denied, getting denied. And I finally went to the congressman, and they have VA representatives that work with the congressmen and stuff. And I showed him what I did, and he told me, he goes, if everybody did it like you did it, I wouldn't have a job.
Wow.
And within 72 hours after seeing them, I got approved.
Wow.
So that tells me what I did was right. And so what I do is I put together a packet of exactly what I did, and I share it with everybody.
Right. So I have to ask, because I know a lot of veterans that I speak with, the transitioning from the military to civilian world. Now, I know you went from military to first responder. Was there any lag time in between?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. In fact, because what had happened is I started about 3 months out before I got out of the military to start looking for a job. And it happened so quick that literally the day I got out, we got a phone call on the way traveling from Fort Polk, Louisiana down to Florida. I got a call from the prison. Can you come in for an interview? And this was on a Thursday. Friday morning, I had an interview. Monday, I started the job.
I know. So you are definitely the exception to the norm, 100%. Because I like I said, I've interviewed so many veterans that that's not the norm.
Well, the thing is a lot of veterans don't understand this. Veterans have veterans preference for county, state, and federal jobs. But a lot of them don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they apply, you'd be surprised of how faster you can get a job. Because when I got veterans come up to me and say, hey, I've been looking for a job for 6 months. Where you been looking? I take them down to the career source. They put in a job for a county, state, or federal job, and the next day they got a job.
Wow.
The veteran's preference, but it's for county, state, and federal.
Okay.
Now it's up to a local business if they want to do that or not.
Right.
But usually the county, state, and federal jobs, they hire you right now.
And that's interesting. Sorry, I was taking notes because I have a couple of veterans that have been out of work for a couple of years and like trying to get back into the workforce, right? And one guy had to take a job at a Circle K. So, anyways, so transition for you then was easy, essentially, because you go from one end of service to the other. So why give your life for service?
Well, just like this in the Soldier's Creed, like I said, it says we'll never leave fallen comrade behind. Right. So if I know something that's going to benefit me and I don't share it, what am I doing? I'm leaving them behind.
Right.
And when I see my brothers and sisters struggling and here I didn't have to do that, I'm not going to leave them behind. I'm going to show them what to do and how to do it. But it's up to them to do it. I'm not gonna hold their hand. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna tell them, hey, this is where you gotta go. This is what paperwork you gotta fill out. I'm not gonna fill out the paperwork for them. Now, if they don't understand the paperwork, I will help them, but I'm not gonna fill it out.
Right. That's interesting. Because you're right. I think a lot of them, they don't know what they don't know, and some of them could be scared. And so,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole different life. Moving from military back into, because some of them give up 20, 30 years of service. They leave and they have no idea what to even do when they come out.
So I'm gonna give you an example. This is what I tell everybody that's getting ready to get out. Try to find a job, especially county, state, or federal job that compared to your job in the military before you get out. Start looking 2-3 months ahead of time. That way you have your application in, you have the process already going. They already know when you're getting out and like that. For example, if you're an MP in the military, try to get a job in the police department. They're looking. They want veterans because they got the experience. They've already got all this accreditations already done.
Right. Thank you for that. I'm definitely going to have a lot of them watch this episode because, I don't think they think of that, or I don't know. I don't know what they think. I have a hard time keeping up with myself, let alone everybody else. So,
especially MPs or any combat arms that did escorts, military escorts, or security or anything like that. There's jobs out there. You just got to start before you get out looking. Don't wait till you get out, because guess what? There may be a transition period, where you might not get a call for interview or something. Start before you get out.
Right. 100%. Okay, so now you switched gears. You went into law enforcement yourself, and are you still doing that now?
No. The reason I got out of the military is because I had I kept coming down with heat exposure, heat exhaustion. Well, the military never diagnosed it. They said heat exhaustion. Well, when I got out, they gave me a 10% disability, and my wife got a job as a pharmacy tech, and she told her boss my symptoms, and he goes, "Have his thyroid get checked out." Come to find out, it was Graves' disease from the oil fires and burn pits.
Wow.
That's a whole other thing going on right now with the PACT Act. If you're a veteran and you're exposed to any of that stuff, you need to take advantage of that PACT Act.
I'm writing that down too.
Right now is the time to do it, because anybody that was exposed to anything between Vietnam to now, which almost every soldier that was deployed was exposed to burnt pits, oil fires, burning all kinds of stuff, chemicals, you name it, they've been exposed. Now, it depends on if they've been having medical problems due to it or not. If they're not having medical problems to it, they're not going to get nothing. Right.
Okay. I will thank you for that resource, because you never know. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Angels 14, but it's a veteran organization that meets Fridays at noon. Basically just from camaraderie, connection, just either shooting the shit or giving resources to other veterans. It's and they allow me in there because they love me. So
Yep.
I love that. Okay, so now you are on the board for American Legion and Project Vet Relief. So tell us what those two organizations are.
So I'm going to kind of start from the low and work my way up. I am one of 3 service officers at the American Legion Post 69. So our job is to help the veterans maneuver the VA state and local benefits with disability claims, state benefits, anything you can imagine. I am also the American Legion Department of Florida VA Entitlements Chairman. I don't want anybody thinking that I work for the VA. I don't. So it's otherwise known as the Benefits Chairman. So anything from the VA, state, and local benefits, that's my baby. I find it, point it out to the veterans, tell them where to go and stuff like that, and get the help. I'm also on the American Legion Be the One team. And what be the one means is be the one to recognize the signs and symptoms of suicide, be the one to do buddy checks, be the one to thank a veteran, and be the one, just be the one. I'm also on the board of Project Vet Relief. So what Project Vet Relief is it's only in the state of Florida. It provides two things. One, we are financial assistance and referral. So if I got a veteran that comes to my office and say, hey, I lost my job a few months ago. I need help. I don't know where to go. I'm losing behind on my bills. We will step in and pay a bill for that veteran. We will not give money to the veteran. We'll pay a bill. But it's a hand up, not a handout. So what I do is I talk to him, find out what's going on, take him down to the career source, help him find a job. Or I take him down to the VA, help him enroll in the VA for disability claim. Or I take him down to college for the GI Bill and get paid to go to school. They got to show us that they're trying to better themselves and get out of the situation they're in. If not, we're not fixing the problem. So I got over 200 points of contacts to help with that, resources. The other part of Project Vet Relief is the suicide prevention intervention. What that means is we have now teamed up with 16 organizations statewide to provide free counseling, free therapy, retreats for PTSD, TBI, and MST. So that's pretty much what my job is. I stay busy.
Yes. Especially with, a lot of the veterans needing those resources for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Dr. J is, I believe, she's part of Project Vet Relief. I'm not exactly sure how.
Yeah, she's one of the strategic partners. We have 16 strategic partners. She's one. We have Canine Line, Wolfhound, or Canine Line, SOF Missions, Mothers of Veteran Suicide, and the list goes. The Gray Team. So we have all these different resources. I got you 6. So pretty much, if a veteran needs help with PTSD, TBI, or MST, we get them the help they need. But it's up to the veteran to take it.
Right. And that is a huge part of the battle, because a lot of, they say they want it until it's time. We give them the resources, we give them the information, but they got to be the ones to go forward in that. So
we even got equine therapy with horses with Eric Anderson.
Eric's awesome. I love Eric.
Yes, he is. He's a different breed.
He's been on our show a couple times, and that man, next time I get to Florida, I'm gonna have to go meet him.
Well, if you ever need something raffled off, that's the guy. he can auction off anything and big money out of it.
Right. I can see that, because if he doesn't put a bolt through it, then he can auction it off. Mm-hmm. He seems like such a sweetheart, heart of gold, that guy.
Like for example, this event in January, he'll be walking around on his horse with the flag, and all I got to say, I want to put a fair warning out there to everybody: if you don't salute that flag when he walks by, you're gonna know it.
Mr. Anderson is all about the American flag. All about it. And don't ever let him hear of American flag being desecrated.
I kind of, if somebody kneels at that event, oh boy, it'll be the last time you'll be kneeling.
Oh my Lord. So you alluded to an event coming up. So let's talk about that event. What is it? Where is it? When is it?
So what this is our 10th annual Veterans Expo. So this is the 10th year. The first couple years, we only had maybe 6 vendors on site, provide counseling, a couple of things from the VA. That's all we had. Each year for the past 10 years, it has doubled in resources and doubled in fundraising. So 3 years ago, when we finally got the Mobile Vietnam Veterans Wall and the Global War Terror Wall involved, the Patriot Guard riders gave me a call and said, hey, this is where we want to link up and be escorted in. It happened to be 22 miles. Everybody knows
Now,
about
is
that
that for 22 a day?
That's for the 22 a day. And we didn't even realize it was 22 until they told me. I'm like, what? Wow. You know what I'm saying? So that has grown huge. I mean, huge. And now, so this is the 10th Veterans Expo. So Friday, January 3rd, I want everybody to put this on your calendar. Because if you're a veteran or a first responder, you need to be there. Mm-hmm. So Friday, January 3rd, we're escorting the Mobile Vietnam Veterans Wall and the Global War Terror Wall. The Vietnam Wall has 58,200 names on that wall, the guys and girls that did not make it home. We also have the Global War Terror Wall, which is 9/11 and now, which has 7,000 names on it. So those are my brothers and sisters and stuff like that are coming home. So we're meeting at the American Legion Post 69, 1301 West Bell Street, 9:30 in the morning, Friday, January 3rd. Miss Veteran America is going to be with us. We're going to have the news with us. We're going to have Dr. Royster with us. We're going to have Norman with us. We're going to have everybody Eric with the horse is going to be standing there with the flag as we're leaving to go get it. At 10:15 that morning, we're having a safety brief. Everybody participating in the escort has to be in the safety brief. We're expecting about 300 motorcycles and over 100 Jeeps.
Wow.
So we're leaving the American Legion Post 69 at 10:15 in the morning. We're going up to Lake Wales at 1750 Longleaf Boulevard. That's where we're picking up the wall. We're expected to be there about 11 o'clock, 11:15 safety brief again. 11:30, we're heading back. At that time, once we get on Highway 27, Highway 27 southbound is going to be shut down. We're estimating the escort to be about 9 miles long.
Wow.
With several hundred motorcycles, Jeeps, cars, trucks, you name it, everybody's welcome to participate. During that time, we're going to have the news stations flying over the helicopters and hundreds of people flying flags. We're going to be traveling 22 miles south back to American Legion Post 69. When the wall arrives, we're going to have approximately about 100 kids, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, JRTCs, Boys and Girls Club of America, all waving flags as we're coming through. We're also going to have the fire department with the big giant flag. So the escort will be going through those flags underneath that flag. We're also going to have the National Guard with some static display with some of their equipment and Humvees and stuff like that there. When the wall arrives, we're estimated to be at the post between 11:50 in the morning and noon. When the wall arrives, we're going to have the main 22 organizations that I use to help veterans on site. Dr. Royster, Eric, K9 Line, the Gray Team, I Got You 6, the FDVA doing disability claims. So if a veteran needs to put in for disability claim, they can do it, or they want to check the status of disability claim, they can do that. Just be aware there's going to be a little bit of line because of that many people. There's going to be lines, so just bear with it. And so pretty much that is Friday, January 3rd. Saturday, January 4th, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning is the opening ceremony. We're going to have, right now we have 72 vendors. Wow. On site. And this is not a flea market. This is resources to provide for veterans and first responders and kids. Meaning that we're going to have 3 service dog trainers on site. We're going to have 3 organizations that take veterans scuba diving. We're going to have 9 clinics from the VA going to be there. We're going to have the PTSD crew. We're going to have enrollment in the VA. We're going to have disability claims. So pretty much what I call this event, the Veterans Resource Super Bowl. So if you want to know about the VA, state, and local benefits, state, we're talking about property tax exemptions. Any veteran that has a 10% disability, 90%, you get $5,000 off your property tax.
Wow.
If you're over the age of 65 and you are a disabled veteran, combat veteran, whatever your disability rating is, what you get off your property tax. So if you're 50% disabled, you can get 50% off your property tax. If you're 100% permanent total, you pay $150 a year in taxes.
And I wonder how many veterans actually know this.
But each state's different. That's just in the state
Right.
of Florida.
Right.
So that's why we're having all these resources there at One Stop Shop. We're also going to have the National Cemetery there. All these veterans can go ahead and pre-register to be placed into a national cemetery. What pre-registering means that if something happens, that the cemetery knows you're coming. That's another thing that the family doesn't have to deal with. They already got it all taken care of. My thing is the families don't know their benefits.
Mm-hmm.
If the veteran passes, don't have any disability, there's reimbursement cost that they can get. If the veteran has a disability and dies due to the disability, they'll get even more benefits.
Wow.
If the veteran's 100% disabled in the state of Florida and has had it 100% for over 10 years, the family can get $1,600 a month tax-free for the rest of their lives.
Wow. And so no wonder why all my veterans moved to Florida. Now I know why.
So there is so many things out there. Now, most states have pretty close to the same thing. Pretty close.
Right.
Okay. So like the death benefits I was talking about, that's nationwide. That's a nationwide thing. So, but the property tax exemptions, that's different each state. So what I tell everybody is whatever state you're living in, you can find out that just type it up on Veterans Resources for the state, and it's right there.
That's thank you for that, Larry. Because
for example, in the state of Florida, you go to the FDVA, Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. You can pull up the webpage, and there's all the information for state benefits right there. So each state, so like Florida FDVA, so if you're Michigan, MDVA, or whatever, the Michigan, it's all right there.
Right. Wow. You've definitely been a huge resource today. I had no idea. And I mean, maybe some of the veterans I do talk to do know that, but I don't think a lot of them do.
So my belief is if I can save a veteran $1, it might be that one thing that prevents them from committing suicide. So I'm going to give you an example. The Rays baseball team, they give free tickets to veterans. You go to raysbaseball.com. Okay. So salute the service. And then you click on it and they'll tell you how to get tickets for free for weekday games. VetTix, VETTIX. That's a huge one. VetTix, anybody can join as long as you're a veteran, first responder, or a teacher. What they do is they have collected all these tickets, leftover tickets and stuff like that. For example, NCAA football games, you can get free tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went to a Bon Jovi concert for $10.
Oh, come on. You seen The Boss.
VetTix, VETTIX.
Oh, wow.
All kinds. Sometimes there's cool things, sometimes it's lousy things. The way that works is you join VetTix. It doesn't cost them to join. And then you get this make-believe tokens is what it is. And you find an event that you like and you bid those tokens on it. And if your token is pulled, then they call you and say, hey, you want to go? Yes. And you just pay for the ticket to get mailed to you. That's it.
What? That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's tickets across the world, though, like for any sporting event
in the United States.
Wow. So you could have went to a Taylor Swift.
So there's all kinds of stuff. There's NASCAR. There's football. There's basketball. There's NCAA. There's concerts. There's everything you can imagine. But sometimes it's good stuff. Sometimes it's bad stuff. I've seen WWE wrestling tickets. I've seen cruises. I've seen everything you can imagine on there. Another one I go to is called military.com. So military.com, it's free for joining. And what it is, they send out, so once a week I get an email from military.com. And they tell me everything that's going on with all the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now the Space Force. So you can click on it, see what's going on. It also has everything, all new updates with the VA. So a lot of times I see things on that before I even learn from the VA itself.
Right.
One time I saw on there a cruise for a family of 4 for 14 days for $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So how many times have you gone on a cruise, Larry?
But what I like about it is it tells you everything that's going on. I'm gonna give you an example. There were updates going on about the government possible shutdown. So anything dealing with the VA, veterans, military, anything that's going on, it once a week it sends out these little stories and what's going on. So if you want to know anything about what's going on, that's where you got to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. You have been an amazing resource this morning, and thank you. Thank you for your wisdom, because I'm as soon as I'm done this, I'm part of a group text for Angels 14. So I'm going to be putting some of the stuff in there for, the men and women that are in that group.
GovX is another one. GOVX.
GovX. Okay.
So also what I do is when I travel around, I give classes how to maneuver the VA. So what the VA is looking for disability claims. They want medical proof of what happened in the military is linked to what's going on now, or a doctor's opinion, and how it has to be written. So what I do is I give classes on that. But I give classes on that, and I also give classes on state benefits, local benefits. Because like I said, sometimes if I can save a veteran $1, I'm saving their life.
Mm-hmm.
So when a veteran comes to my office, they say, "Hey, I want to see about putting in disability for hearing." So not only do I go over that, I also go over the state benefits and local benefits, because they didn't ask for that, but maybe they're down and out and depressed and hurting, struggling financially, but they didn't know that there was help out there.
Right.
So I help with the whole package. Usually I sit down with somebody for about 2 hours.
Where can people get a hold of you, Larry?
Well, I can give you my phone number for one.
Well, unless you want this going to the world, don't put your phone number out. But anywhere on social media or an email address that they can reach
you. So I can give you my email address. I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
So it's all small letters. It's Gunhunter, GUNHUNTER, (1966) at yahoo.com.
Okay. So when you say you go around doing your talks, how can people get you into their organization for these talks?
All they have to do is invite me. That's all they got to do is invite me. And if they got it to where I can hook up to a projector or a TV, that's even better, because it's a slideshow. I go over step by step by step, and I give them one copy of the class, so that way they can make copies and give it out, or I can email a copy of the class to them.
Right. Wow. I think everybody should be using Larry here, because just the amount of information we've only been on here for like 34 minutes, and already the information that you've given, I know, can help change somebody's life at least tenfold. Seriously,
but that Veterans Expo, it's I call it the resource. So anything I got, it's gonna be a one-stop shop. So yes. if you wanna, so I can't stand it when I hear people say, "Well, I didn't know about this. Well, I didn't know about that." It's because you didn't come to that event.
Right.
If you come and if you are in and out in less than 10 minutes, you missed out. And when I say that event could be worth thousands of dollars, it could be worth thousands of dollars. I'm gonna give you an example. Last year we did 120 disability claims in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
I've already heard of 70 of them that got approved since last January.
What?
So if you take one veteran that say got 100% disability, you're looking at $4,300 a month tax free.
Wow.
property taxes, license plates, all this other stuff. That's huge. That's huge.
So the event is January 3rd and 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Post, you said American Legion Post 69?
Yep, at 1301 West Bell Street, Avon Park, Florida.
Avon Park, Florida?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I wrote that down myself because this when, like I said, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be giving this information to every veteran I know.
Yeah, we're even going to have the colleges there with the social workers. So that way, if a veteran wants to enroll in the college with the GI Bill, they can do that. Take advantage of it. If you got the GI Bill coming, take advantage of it. And by the way, if a veteran is 100% permanent total, your wife and your kids can go to college free too and get paid to go to school.
So there we go. There's your free education. And you don't even have to sign up to be in the military.
Up to the age of 24 for the kids.
Okay.
The wife, there is no age limit.
Right.
But what I tell everybody is, what if something happens to the veteran today? There's a benefit for the spouse. She could be going to learn a trade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind that either the guys don't know about this or they just, I don't know. Like, why is
this? I'm hearing a couple things. One, this one I can't stand. I hear veterans say, I don't want to take away from somebody else that's more, but needs it more. So this is what I tell them. You are taking it away. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, for every 500th veteran that is enrolled in the VA, I'm not talking about disability, I'm talking about just enrolled in the VA, they have to hire another doctor, 2 nurses, and more facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not one of those 500, you are taken away. For example, where I live, we got to drive 2.5 hours to the VA hospital. Wow. Why can't you be one of those 500 so we can get more people enrolled, more money, more funding, more doctors, more facilities?
Right.
Either you qualify or you don't. Those guys that are missing arms and legs and stuff like that, they're going to get more.
Right.
They are going to get more. So you are taken away. But they don't look at it that way. A lot of them don't like, well, and the next thing I tell them, I said, so what happens if you're working right now and let's say you have a 10% disability and you go out on the highway and you get in a car accident, can't work again. Guess what? At least now you have medical care, mm-hmm. and you enroll in the VA.
Right.
Think about 100%. That. Think about your family. Because
right.
That way, if you got a disability and you die due to a service-connected disability, your family is going to be taken care of more.
Mm-hmm. So some of the veterans I know are in Illinois, Utah, Texas, things like that. Should these guys be like running to Florida for this event on June 3rd and 4th?
If they want to, sure.
Or I mean January 3rd
sure.
and 4th, not June.
Sure. I encourage it because the resources are so important. Like I said, if they want to put in for a disability claim, man, that's huge. That is massive. We're going to have the blood mobile there. Last year, 20 people donated blood. They say for every one person that donates blood, they're saving 4 lives. If you need to get a service dog, equine therapy, state benefits, local benefits, even if you can't get it here in the state of Florida, but you live somewhere else, learn the information to go back and get it there.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. You just got to know where to get it and how to get it.
100%. And your team will definitely help them do that.
Yeah. So especially if you got a family member that lives here in Florida, but you're up there, tell your family to come here, learn it, call you, tell you how to do it.
Right. 100%. Well, I don't know why they wouldn't go to your event, Larry, because I mean, just from what you said, they can either get up their rating on their disability or, if nothing else, even learn about the property tax thing. Like, that's huge.
Well, not
It's
only
huge.
that, the strategic partners of Project Vet Relief, we send veterans on these retreats, all expense paid, which the average cost is $4,000 to $8,000 per veteran to go, all expense paid. So if you got a veteran that's got PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, MST, military sexual trauma, or TBI, traumatic brain injury, and we can send them on these retreats, all expense paid, to help get counseling and therapy back to where they belong. And while they're there, the FDVA does a disability claim. Take advantage of it. You earned it. Your family earned it.
Exactly.
I don't understand either why people don't. I mean, I want my brothers and sisters to be alive. I want them to stay there. You're not taken away from somebody. You are taken away, because guess what? If you go hurt yourself, you took away from the family, and you're taken away from us.
Right. And I love what you said. Think of it this way, because if you're not part of the 500, then you're part of the problem, because then they can't get a VA hospital in that area without the 500.
Right. So it's affecting the VA funding.
Right.
The more veterans enroll, the more funding they got to allocate, the more everything like that. You're kind of enabling if you're not one of them.
Ooh, that hit a whole new level. And I know that any veteran that I know, as soon as you say that, they're like, back us up.
Well, that's with any benefit. The more people that are taking advantage of it, and I'm not going to say taking advantage. I'm not. You earned it. It's yours. You got it coming.
Right.
But the more people that aren't using it, the government can say, "Oh, they're not using it, so why are we doing it?"
Wow. Good stuff.
Good stuff. What I like to do when I give these classes and seminars, I like reaching out to the spouses. Why? They listen better.
Well, let's face it. Okay, so when you were in the military, you guys were away doing your job. She was at home doing her job, keeping the house intact, doing her, like, some of them I know even worked outside of the home, but it was part of her position to make sure to keep the greases running. So of course, even after service, she's, yes, your guys are there, but I mean, it's still up to her to get it going.
So one thing that I cannot stand, this bothers me so bad, is especially newspapers and reporters say this. For example, they're interviewing, they say, we have a former Marine here. Former? There's no former. Once you are for life.
I was going to say, that's the one part of the military that if you're a Marine, you're a Marine for life.
Same thing with Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You got it in your blood now. It's just like law enforcement.
Yeah.
You're not a former sheriff. You're still a sheriff, just wearing a different uniform.
Yeah.
My belief is I'm not wearing that green Army green no more, but I'm still wearing that uniform. I got it in me. I got it on me. I am still a soldier. And I will never leave my fallen brothers and sisters behind.
Yeah. Wow, Larry. You have given me a lot to think about today. I've never met Larry till today. And it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you. I have his Facebook, the 10th Annual Veterans Facebook. If you just go to Facebook and type in 10th Annual Veterans Expo, then that will come up. So go check that out. It's a free resource. Again, all the information that Larry has talked about today, I'm sure, is on there in some capacity. And join the group. Be informed, because I've learned like a lot in the 44 minutes we've been talking.
I have everything we talked about. I got manuals. So this is not me talking to talk. I actually have to where if a veteran comes in and says, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I give them the manual here. Take it home. Take it home. So when I give my classes, you're gonna kind of laugh at this. So when I give my classes, I love when the spouses are there. And I'll say, guys, do me a favor. When you go home, take those magazines you have in the bathroom, take those out and put this stuff in there for a while. Why? Because most guys do the best studying in the bathroom. It's true.
True. You're right. True.
So
True.
then I also asked the spouses how many of them like to shop. Of course, none of the spouses raised their hands, and I'm like, you guys are lying. Stop lying. We know the truth. We know the truth.
Yeah.
So what I do is I ask them, I said, do me a favor, for 1 month, everywhere you go, ask if they take military or veterans discounts. Everywhere. After that month, you make a master list. And then you share it. Share it with the veterans community. Share it with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd be surprised of how much money you can save by just asking that. I've had companies say, no, we don't give veterans, but we'll give seniors. I'll go ahead and give you a senior one. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I do is I take that money that I saved, put it in my piggy bank. That's my vacation money for the year.
There we go.
You'd be surprised.
And then when you go to VetTix, then you get it even cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. It's a win-win.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. And so
you saved all that money. You saved all that money from going discounts. So now guess what? You got the money there for the gas to get to that event from VetTix.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be disciplined. You got to come up with that 10% that you saved at the store. You got to come home and put it in that jug or whatever. You can do it.
Yeah. 100%.
You can do it.
100%. Wow. Wow.
You'd be surprised of how much 10% is after a while.
Well, exactly. And I love that you said, do your own research and do your list of people that support veterans. On our website, I got a list of 14 pages of veteran, I don't know the proper word. Forgive me. It's my brain is foggy right now, but I've got these resources. There we go. 14 pages of resources from one of my veterans. So they are on my website. So if you go to www.unstoppableovercomers.com, go to veteran resources, there is 14 pages worth of veteran resources right there. So one stop there, and I will be adding these things that Larry has told us about today, adding those resources to that list. So it's insane. And that's 14 pages typed. And this, again, was one of my veterans. It was on the Veterans Day episode on Unstoppable Overcomers, Mr. Paul Curtis, who 80 years old or 80 years young, and came on and shared his diplomatic immunity story on his military days. So
I'm going to tell you some of the things that we have. And by the way, we're always looking for sponsors and donors for that event. We need funding so we can send these veterans to those retreats. One of the cool things we have you heard of Jason Momoa?
Yes.
He's got a vodka line. We have a signed autographed bottle of him signing one of his bottles. We have one of those bottles where we're auctioning off. And all kinds of cool things from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have all kinds of cool things.
Speaking of which, I would like to, so December 29th, if you're watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, why can't I think this morning? Our very own Dr. Jay Royster will be honored at that game. So please, even if you're not a football fan, somebody's got to tape that. I will not be home. This is the first Sunday that we're not home because we're going away for Christmas, and it just happens to be that day. So if somebody can tape that for me and send me at least her being recognized, I would greatly appreciate it. And you can send it to gramdorothy408@gmail.com. I would appreciate that. But seeing one of our very own being honored at a game, I'm so bummed I will be in a car and not be able to see that.
I just hope they win.
I don't care about that. Buccaneers are not my team anymore since Brady moved on, but I just want to see her get recognized. That to me, that's everything right there.
Yeah, it's so as I find more and more things out there, like that. We're getting it out there. So that expo. Oh, by the way, at the expo also, we're doing a couple cool things. Saturday, January 4th, during the opening ceremony, Eric is going to be reading off a poem called "My Name's Old Glory." And what that poem is, it reads off the history of the flag.
Mm.
And as he's reading off that poem, you know Eric's voice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are.
Sam Elliott. Yep.
Yep. So he's going to read off "My Name's Old Glory." And as he's doing that, the American Legion Department of Florida Sergeant at Arms will be bringing up a big flag up to the stage. But behind him is going to be all the kids bringing flags up.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So everybody thinks that the American Legion is a bar. We're not a bar. We have a canteen, but we're not a bar. The American Legion is founded on the 4 pillars. This is our mission. Just like the military's got a mission. First pillar is Veterans Affairs Rehabilitation, taking care of our veterans. Pillar number 2, children and youth, taking care of our kids. That's our future. Pillar number 3, Americanism, which is our flag, our eagle. By the way, there's a chance we might have a bald eagle at the event too. There's a chance. I'm supposed to find out tomorrow. Yes, I'm supposed to find out tomorrow. And then the last one is taking care of our national security, which is policemen, firemen, and our FBI agents. Anybody wearing a uniform, that's our 4 pillars. The American Legion, or the Veterans Expo, is covering all 4 pillars. For example, we're having everything there for the veterans. Like I said, 72 vendors. But we're also going to have the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the JROTCs, the Boys Girls Club of America, all there also. And the purpose for that is to get more kids to join them and us supporting them. We have 16 kids nationally a day committing suicide. So we're going to have counselors and therapists there for that too. And if we can get a child off the street to join the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or the JROTCs instead of on the streets, we saved a life. And to me, if a veteran commits suicide, it affects the kids. It affects the kids. What's on top of the coffin if a veteran commits suicide? The flag. Who responds? The policeman. So all 4 pillars is affected when a veteran commits suicide. If a child commits suicide, it affects the veteran. Who responds? The law enforcement. So that's why we're doing this event. So everything surrounds about that is one-stop shop.
Right. You mentioned something which I had never heard of. You said 16 children a day die by suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of that. I'm not saying I was just so, and you don't know my story at all, but I lost my uncle to suicide 27 years ago. So I was in my early 20s, and it just happened on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. So you're right. I never thought of it. You said when the adult commits suicide, this affects the children, and it did. Like it had. It also affected everybody in our family.
A lot of these school shootings of the kids. They had one just the other day, a 16-year-old girl. People are what's happening is when me and you grew up, we didn't have Facebook, electronics, and stuff like that. Yep. So when the kids get home, they're still getting bullied. Mm-hmm. Where we were able to escape that for a few hours or overnight or whatever, they can't now.
Right.
So the suicides are going up tremendous because they're getting bullied more. And the schools, and I hate to say it, but a lot of schools ain't doing a whole lot about it.
I agree. I mean, I went into my stepson's school because of a couple incidents that had happened. And I asked them, like, what are you doing for bullying? And, oh, well, we have speakers come in. Okay. But it's obviously not affecting the kids positively because stuff still happens. Right. Mm-hmm. And they said, unfortunately, it has been the worst year in her history of being a principal at a school that it's rampant, and that is public school now. And here in Canada, that's grade 1 to 8. So I don't know what that is in the States, but that was that age group, and I was blown away that this happens even talking about it, or kids being kids and on the playground and telling a kid they should kill themselves. Like that shit's scary, in my opinion. That's, I'm not going to say as scary as an active shooter, because that's pretty scary too. But I mean, when you have kids ganging up on each other, telling them that.
And what I don't understand is, say, when I grew up, I had a shotgun in the car. I used to go hunting right after school. No problems. You didn't see school shootings. You didn't see this and stuff like that. So taking away the guns isn't the solution. Education and being grown-ups being more responsible of the kids. That's where I think the problem is. I mean, if you're a good parent, you're gonna see what's going on. You're gonna see these signs and symptoms. You're gonna see that the children are being bullied. But if you let it run wild, it's gonna keep getting run wild.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing like congressmen going on TV saying anybody that has a mental illness should not own a gun. Well, now you're just telling all the veterans not to go get help because they're afraid of getting labeled and lose a gun. Let the doctors decide that, not you. Stay out of it. Let the doctors decide if they're unstable. You making these comments and stuff, now you're telling all the veterans not to get help. I got many veterans that I know that need help, but they're afraid of getting help because they're afraid of losing their guns. So you got a veteran that loves to hunt and fish, you take away that gun, now you're going to have more problems.
Because that's their zen. That's what they, getting out there in nature, hunting. I can see that being a huge problem.
It is. I know at least 30 veterans that will not go get help because they're afraid of getting labeled.
That's sad. That is sad.
At least 30 that I know of. Does it make sense?
Wow. And we thought we were doing better because we're bringing more eyes onto the issue, but in the sense of if they're not willing to go get help because of the stigma and afraid of, losing their guns or gun license.
Luckily, I have a lot of veterans that come to me and I convince them, okay, we're not going to send you to the VA. Let's send you to Dr. Royster, or let's send you to Norman, or let's send you to Soft Missions, let's send you to Eric, let's send you to these other places where nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody knows. You don't have to go see the VA for PTSD if you don't want to, but get the help that you need.
100%.
We'll send you to the vet center. We'll send you all these different places. You don't have to put in for a disability claim for that. Right. But I do let you know that for PTSD, average disability is 30 to 50% disability. That's a big hunk of money. And by the way, PTSD, what is S? Stress. Stress causes heart attacks. It's a secondary condition. So if you have PTSD and you had a heart attack due to stress, now you have a secondary condition. Now you can get more disability for that.
Wow. Don't be afraid, guys, or women, because I'm sure women are the same way. They don't get the help of female veterans.
So, well, this is the deal. Every VA doctor I've talked to, psychiatrists, have told me, long as you're doing the right thing, come to your appointments, take your medications, don't put it up that giant red flag, you're going to be okay. You're not going to lose your license, your gun license. As long as you don't put up that giant red flag, doing what you're supposed to be doing, going to your appointments, things like that, you're okay.
Right.
But it's that stigma. Everybody's afraid. So meanwhile, we got more problems than...
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Larry. This hour has went by extremely quickly. I appreciate you and everything that you do for the veteran space, the first responder space. You definitely have opened my eyes to a lot of different things. So for that, I appreciate you. Definitely, guys, if you're hearing this right now, you're hearing it for a reason. Definitely get to post 69 in Florida at 130 1301 West Bell Street, Avon Park, Florida, on January 3rd and 4th. Get your resources, 72 vendors of Strictly Resources. And I know Larry and his team are going to take care of you 100%.
Oh, also, a Saturday, January 4th at 10:45, during the tail end of the ceremony, we're having vintage World War II planes do a flyover.
What? My gosh, I wish I could go. I really want to be at this event, but I'm not a veteran, and I
don't matter. You don't matter. You don't need to be a veteran. You're a supporter, right?
I am a supporter. I'm one of your biggest supporters.
So if you know those resources and you know all this stuff's available, you are doing your part.
Right. All right. From your lips to God's ears, someone's going to have to get me to Florida for that weekend.
It's big. It's big.
It sounds huge. And so I can't wait for the amount of people that this episode is going to help. So thank you so much, Larry. And don't forget, reach out to Larry at gunhunter1966@yahoo.com. Ask him and his team to come and share his wisdom within your classes if you can't make the 3rd and 4th event, January 3rd and 4th event. Sometimes I get June and January. I don't know how I mix them up, but I do sometimes. Anyways, with that, Larry, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your resources. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you. Any last words before we wrap this up?
Nothing. We just want people there. You know, I can't help people if they don't show the effort and trying to help themselves.
Right. 100%. What time does that event start on the 3rd?
So the 3rd, we're actually meeting at the American Legion Post 69 at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And that's getting ready to leave to go get the wall. 10:15 is a safety brief. Anybody can participate in the escort as long as you can drive 50 to 55 miles per hour. Okay, because it's a. So I had somebody say, "Well, it's a parade." It ain't a parade; it's an escort. Mm-hmm. You know, I've never seen a parade go 60 miles per hour.
Right. Exactly.
Police escorted. If you can't make it that time, we're gonna expect to arrive at the American Legion Post between 11:50 a.m. and noon. We're highly encourage everybody to be there with flags waving as the wall comes in. We're going to have some pretty cool things. And when they come in, it's going to be about 8-9 miles of motorcycles, Jeeps, cars, the walls, everything. So it's pretty cool.
I love that. So you heard it here. Get to this event. And just, I can't wait to hear the outcome of this event afterwards, because I know it's going to help a lot of our veterans out there. Mm-hmm. And that would just be amazing just to even experience it.
So ladies, if you want to leave your husband at home and you want to come out, come on out. If you want to throw your husband in jail for the day and have a timeout, you can bring him up and throw him in jail.
There we go.
Last year we had the jail set up and lady goes, "Oh, I want to go shopping." You throw him in, and the guy goes, "Well, I have my beer in my hand." I said, "What jail can you go to have a beer in your hand?"
There you go.
Threw him in jail, and she goes, "I want to go shopping." Go, and she left him in there.
There you go, ladies. Throw your husband in jail. He can have a beer. You can go shopping. Check out the 72 vendors on the 4th. Watch the flyover at night. Stay to the end of the event. Watch the flyover. Larry, thank you so much for all that you do. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, stay safe, be kind, and same channel, same time next week. Bye for now.